Also today, Americans marked 24 years since the 9/11 terror attacks on New York City, Washington, D.C., and Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Thousands of people died that tragic day, whether they were on the hijacked planes, in the buildings the planes hit, or they were the first responders who tried to courageously save lives.
And of the thousands of videos and images that tell the story of that tragic day, there are only a few that document what the President of the United States was doing during one of our nation's darkest moments. And the man behind those images, Eric Draper, the chief White House photographer for President George W. Bush's entire presidency.
Yeah, Draper now lives in Rio Rancho, and tonight he is reliving, capturing all that history with us 24 years later.
He sat down with our Zach Rael. Zach, his photos are some of the only images of President Bush from that day. What does he remember, though, himself from 9/11?
Trevor, Tessa, hearing from Draper was absolutely fascinating. He said that he knew in the moment as it was happening, he was witnessing something big, but maybe he didn't realize how significant that day would be. He had a job to do, capture the President of the United States through photography. And now these images are part of history, and they tell the story of an important piece of 9/11. What was the day like for the President of the United States?
Everyone had a job to do, and everyone was pretty crystal clear. You know, my job was not to miss a moment.
And that is exactly what Eric Draper did September 11th, 2001. Draper was the chief White House photographer for the entire presidency of George W. Bush and was with the president that day.
I was there in front of him the entire time.
September 11th, 2001 started off with a press event at a school in Florida when the president was first told America was under attack.
I knew something was wrong. I knew something had happened. I didn't know what exactly until I walked into the room and saw this.
From an empty Florida classroom, the president and his staff saw for the first time what had happened in New York City.
I was waiting for the president to actually look at the TV and to acknowledge what was happening, because everyone in the room stopped and was kind of like, oh my God, what's happening?
From there, Draper says it was a whirlwind. The president's motorcade leaving the school to get back to Air Force One.
And I'll never forget, as I boarded Air Force One, Andy Card was standing at the top of the stairs asking everyone to take their batteries out of their cell phones. And that was the first time that it occurred to me that we were a target.
Without knowing if more planes were coming or what could be the next target, Air Force One took off.
We took off very quickly, almost like the airplane was standing on its tail, going straight up.
Draper, the only photographer on board Air Force One with the president. This image, Draper says, was the lowest moment of the day when Bush watched as one of the towers fell.
I was the only person in the cabin with him at that moment, and he stood there in silence, and you can feel the most powerful person on earth was just powerless at that moment, watching that happen.
Through his lens, Draper captured frustration as the president wanted to get back to Washington, D.C.
I documented the president literally having an argument with Andy Card about where to go.
He also captured sorrow.
I didn't know this for years, but she had just found out that her friend was on one of the airplanes.
And fear as fighter jets accompanied Air Force One.
Felt like we're truly at war.
His images also show the moments and emotions in the days that followed the attacks. As Draper looks back on that time, he says it is crucial to keep history alive, and his images are an important part of that story.
It's always good to look back. It's always good to remember.
Just incredible to hear from him. And as you saw there, Draper was with the president in the days that followed 9/11. He was also with George W. Bush for the entire length of his presidency. As we mentioned, he now lives in Rio Rancho and is still a professional photographer today. Back to you.